That would be, if you wouldn't mind, that would be super helpful. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to have my brain somewhere else reading a lot of these great questions. I'd rather be able to be in here and kind of get my full attention here. So if you'd kind of help me to make sure I touch all of the relevant points and we get everybody all the information they're hoping to have today, that would help me.
Yes, that sounds amazing. And I think we're still working on streaming, but we are recording, so we will post this as well, and we will be creating an edited sizzle reel from this recording. So let's go for it.
Awesome. So Jamie, I don't want to be redundant in this because I'm sure we probably have a few people that were on the last awesome call that we had, but I just wanted to echo again how incredibly excited I am to be a part of what you're doing here. And I don't know if everyone like fully grasps how completely revolutionary this concept is that you're bringing in, and what a breath of fresh air your approach is in the world of network marketing. So if you allow me to indulge myself and just brag about how cool you are for 1 second, I'd love to do that before we jump into kind of the science of everything. So first and foremost, I'm not new in the supplement industry. So I actually am second generation naturopathic doctor. This is like in my family's blood. We've been doing holistic health, all about human well-being and integration of literally the best supplements on the planet for 4 decades. And you know, in that position, I've been in the game. A lot of people, when I talk about being second generation, I don't know why, but their mind goes to the fact, oh, Wallace's dad was a doctor, and he kind of took things over and moved from there. And that's not true. My dad was an architect. He did really, really cool stuff. He built amazing buildings, but my dad was an architect. My mom actually was an incredible naturopathic doctor. She still is an incredible naturopathic doctor. She's just retired now. But she, over 40 years ago, began a movement to try to take holistic health from that clinical setting of like one-to-one and really trying to get out and serve like millions of people on large platforms. And so she began working in a one-to-many area where she could work with physicians to work with their patients and bring holistic health and incredible supplements to them. And as I watched as a young boy the incredible changes she was making in lives, that's what I wanted to do too. You know, it's pretty fun. Everybody thinks their parents are kind of like a superhero, but when you get to sit and watch your mom and all these things that come over, like, you saved my life, you know, you did this, my family's so much better. I just wanted to make that kind of impact too. And so I followed her in her footsteps. I studied nutrition. I went and got my naturopathic doctorate. I joined her at our company in the efforts to take holistic health to millions. And, you know, in the process of that, the thing that has made me so wildly excited about what you're doing here, we're based in Utah. And those of you who've been around kind of the network game know that Utah is like a hotbed for network marketing. And as we began to develop a real reputation for helping people, making products that really, really made a difference, I'm pretty willing to place a wager on the fact that every network marketing company based in Utah, which is like most of them, has been in our doors asking us to help formulate. And I took every single one of those meetings because I had this hope inside that someday someone would come in and go, listen, the most important thing to me is the product. And I want to make products that genuinely like are driven to change people's lives. And that's what we're going to put in our system. And the really disappointing thing I have to share is that through quite literally a couple hundred meetings, that never happened. And I still held the meetings because I knew someday that conversation would go the right way, but really, like, I not to talk bad on any process, but I can't tell you the number of times people came in and said, hey, well, like, we want something that seems really good, like this one ingredient we hear is cool, but it's expensive, we can't use very much of it. And it was just like at every turn in formulation, they were putting handcuffs on us as doctors and formulators that kept us from making the products that we knew would make a difference. I no joke, this was the low point for me. I literally had someone say, wouldn't it be possible, like, if we could just like use your reputation and talk about all the things you do, but just like put your name on really inexpensive products? And I was like, no, like absolutely no, because I'm out of integrity with my mission. We're not helping a ton of people, and so I don't mean to be overly dramatic about this, but there was a conversation a while back where Jamie and I were walking down a street, dark, late at night, with a group of our friends. It was in Minnesota, wasn't it? Walking down the street in Minnesota, and she was like, "Listen, I've done all this amazing stuff with topicals," and she truly has. And she's like, "I really want to create the best supplements that the world's ever seen." And that was the conversation I'd been waiting for like 2 decades. And that's exactly what we've done. So I'm so thrilled to be able to be a part of supporting you in the mission you're bringing, because you are an absolute one of a kind, and the difference you're making is going to be huge. And I can't wait to see it all move forward. So I'm sorry for that huge aside, but I'm just really excited. And I know everybody's probably been to this dance before with some, hearing something was super cool. But as a long tenured pro in the industry, I can tell you I've never seen anything like what Jamie's doing with the supplements in this format before. So I'm super excited to be able to share about them today.
We're excited to be working with you too. So thank you so much. That was incredible. Well, do you want me to start with questions, or do you want to just start with, like you did last time, and lay a foundation for each of the products?
So let me do this. If you wouldn't mind, I was reading through some of the questions, and the first several that I saw come up were sort of based on collagen stuff. So let me take a little bit of a deep dive into what we're doing with our collagen. And then if you wouldn't mind prompting me on any clarification or additional stuff there, and then I'll have you help me just kind of navigate through the rest. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have really the coolest collagen supplement you'll ever use, that is coming into this enterprise, and I'm so excited for you guys to like get your hands on it and try it and see what truly like innovative, science-backed, like meaningful, high-quality ingredients, see the difference that those things make in a supplement. So the collagen that we have is very different than a lot that you see currently marketed right now. And hate to say, a lot of the collagens that are being marketed are, to a degree, taking advantage of a little bit of ignorance of the market in what makes collagen truly beneficial and what is maybe not quite what it seems. So let's talk just a little bit at a basis about what collagens are. Collagen are protein peptides. So whenever we take a look at proteins, whether they're peptides or non-peptides, just whatever proteins are simply structures that are built up like when your kids build something out of Legos. It's just that the individual pieces, instead of like a yellow brick and a red brick and so on and so forth, the individual pieces of a protein are amino acids. So whatever your body's making out of protein, it just makes stacking Legos of amino acids in order to build up what that structure is. And just like Legos, it can be built into a whole lot of different stuff. So that can be all types of proteins. In this particular situation, we're just talking about the collagen peptides. So there are a number of different collagen peptides, and in your body, in the cells, all of those collagen peptides are valuable. So if they're located inside your cell, all collagen peptides are valuable. But here's where there gets to be a problem that takes advantage of not everybody being a nutritional research scientist, right? Which is this. In the entire world of collagen, there is one that stands alone with a very unique quality, and that is hydrolyzed collagen 2. Hydrolyzed collagen 2 is the single only form of collagen that has the property that it can actually be absorbed into your body and take into your cells as a complete collagen. So most of the time when you eat collagen, your body treats that collagen like any other protein. And when your body digests protein, it doesn't pull a full protein. And so, if you eat egg whites, there's not like an egg white protein that makes it into your bloodstream. What happens is in the digestive process, your body breaks that egg white protein apart into all of its constituent amino acids. It's just like taking that Lego tower your kid built and breaking it apart into all of its pieces. And then it puts all those tiny individual pieces into your system where it can use amino acids to build whatever it wants. So all other collagens actually are just treated as a protein in your system. So like, I hate to rain on anyone's parade. There are a lot of people who know better that for marketing's sake are out there and are like, we've got all these different types of collagen, like it's a good thing. It's really not a good thing. What it is I call those bulk collagens, where they're purposefully introducing a lot of cheap collagen ingredients that cannot actually be picked up by your body as collagen. So it's just like taking a protein supplement. And quite honestly, it's no better than if you were to go to the store and buy an egg white protein supplement or a whey protein supplement, or probably even better, you were just like have a chicken breast at dinner. Those collagens are not, bulk collagens are not any better for you than just eating protein. So they kind of trick you into thinking, because I'm eating collagen, I'm going to get collagen. And that's just not the way the digestion in your body works. So we have built this formulation around the only clinically studied collagen, which is hydrolyzed collagen 2, which we can actually track all the way to the cell. So what they do with this is they radio tag it. They can put a unique radioactive tag on that full collagen, have somebody ingest it, and then follow it through imaging and see that full collagen actually be absorbed by the body and implants it in the cells. One of the other things that I saw here that I'm honestly like, I'm not certain where this came from. I'm guessing that either somebody that was a little undereducated or maybe being a little disingenuous had kind of spread this stuff out, but they were talking about how only certain types of collagens benefit tissues, right? Like for your joints, you need this type of collagen, and for your skin, you need this type of collagen. That's not actually medically accurate. So hydrolyzed collagen 2, not only can we go follow these studies, if you guys want to be the biggest nerds on the planet, you can go to PubMed and actually read like the thousands of page documents on exactly how these studies work. I think we'll make it easier on you than that. I think maybe we'll go and grab extracts from these studies and show you the real science behind all this of exactly why these things are the way they are. But you can go and read why hydrolyzed collagen 2 is the only one that can make it into the cell. But in addition, there are a ton of really amazingly well structured clinical studies that show that the supplementation of hydrolyzed collagen 2 increases benefits in skin, hair, nails, joints, basically across the board. So the reason we use hydrolyzed collagen 2 is it's the absolute best. I kind of talk about this. I know this is like a funny correlation, but it makes sense to me on how unique the value is of hydrolyzed collagen 2. So we probably all know like gemstones and shiny rocks a little bit, right? So if we take a look at hydrolyzed collagen 2 is like the diamond. Like it's above all, right? It does something that no other shiny rock can do. And so when you take a hydrolyzed collagen supplement, it's like getting like just a big, amazing diamond. Where when somebody gives a bulk collagen supplement, which has a whole bunch of stuff in it, all those other types of collagen basically amount to like a handful of shiny rocks. They don't have the value that hydrolyzed collagen 2 does. So even if you're taking a supplement that has a tiny bit of hydrolyzed collagen 2, it's like getting a handful of like those teeny little diamonds they use to like trick you on cheap jewelry. And then the rest of your hand is full of shiny rocks and going, look, this is better than this handful of diamonds because we've got more colors over here. You all wouldn't be fooled by that. Don't be fooled by the kind of marketing trickery on collagens either. Hydrolyzed collagen 2 is absolutely what you want. So one of the cool things with this is it actually allows us to deliver just the right active amount of that hydrolyzed collagen 2 without doing some artificially trumped up label claim on a whole bunch of different types of collagen. So you can go to Costco or Walmart or whatever and find a collagen protein. They'll be like, oh, we've got so many grams of like all these multiple types of collagen. Just remember, every time you see multi-strain collagen, all you're seeing is a basic protein supplement. And when you look at that, it's not even a very good basic protein supplement. You've got like 8 or 10 grams of bulk collagen that isn't doing you as much good as a 15 or 20 gram whey protein or egg white protein supplement would do. So that's kind of one of the important things to know. One of the things that does happen is, like most stuff, just like if we go back to that idea of like the diamond versus the shiny rocks, diamonds are special and they're expensive, and hydrolyzed collagen 2 is special and it's expensive. A handful of shiny rocks you can buy for $1 at like a gas station on a road trip, right? Same thing happens with just big bulk collagen. They make it look impressive, but it's really just packaged up cheap stuff. So hopefully that helps you kind of understand why we came at this the way we did. We wanted to use literally only the absolute best stuff to make this collagen supplement.
Oh, I love that. That to me, that gives us the whole scope, and it really helps you understand, because we've had a lot of questions around like, well, what about this product? And what about that product? And this many ounces? And I'm like, you guys don't understand. We have the purest of the pure, and it's going to translate just exactly how it should, which is incredible.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. There's a lot of work to go into making sure that's the case.
Yes. That's incredible. Okay, well, I don't have any other questions around the collagen specifically, because you answered the 1 and 3. We had people asking about like, what about 1 and 3 collagen types that are, and I think that's something that's been taught out there based on just marketing,
It's true.
Really good marketing. So
yeah. One thing I did want to, I saw a specific question that asked, we use a bovine source collagen. The reason we use a bovine source collagen is that it's the best collagen we're able to get as far as its activity in the human body. Somebody asked what the bovine source was, and I believe they asked if it was a bone marrow or a skin collagen. It actually is a skin collagen. The reason we use that skin collagen is, again, it is in tests. It is the best as far as being picked up and used by the body. I just saw Julie Moore asked, is it grass-fed? It absolutely is grass-fed. Yeah, we deal with grass-fed, free range, no hormones, no injections, like squeaky clean sources on everything that we do.
That's incredible. So I know there's a lot of, I was going to have this maybe answered towards the end, but we could probably talk about this now. There's a lot of people asking just in general across the board with all of our supplements about dosing and children, and what if you have this condition, and what if you have, this medication you're taking. Can we cover that just as a blanket?
Yeah, for certain. So first of all, we work very, very hard to have products that are as infinitely safe and effective as we possibly can. One of the benefits in that we've worked with tons and tons of literally millions of patients in the medical community, working with doctors over the last 40 years, is that we know how to formulate supplements that work for the widest variety of people and also are the safest for the widest variety of people. That said, if you have a specific medical question, what I can tell you is this: as a doctor, I am a doctor, but I am not your doctor. So not being your doctor, I am not, I haven't done an exam with you. I don't know your full medical history. I don't know everything else that's happening. And so because of that, I would never presuppose to make a medical diagnosis or like a specific medical recommendation without doing that. It would be irresponsible of me as a doctor. So we always defer to, we give great information about the products. You'll be able to find everything you need to know about them. And if you have a specific medical question on how this relates to you, I would take that information to your physician that has examined you and understands your entire medical history, and work with them to determine whether that is an ideal fit for what you do. All that said, we do put great pains into making certain that we've done the work to make sure that it will be a useful part of most treatments for you, but that's up to your doctor to make that specific call.
That's great. Yeah, you talked last time about how there's like the level, especially when we're talking about herbalism. We can kind of get into that to the next one, but how you've kept it at that balance where, yeah. And I don't want to make claims here, so
No, I can enlighten that just a touch, just so everybody understands kind of what I had said last time that you're referring to. With any medicinal herb, and when we talk about medicinal herbs, what we're just talking about is potent foods, right? All herbs are foods. These are just very, very potent, awesome, and powerful foods. And just like every other food that you know, there are levels that are safe and levels that are not, right? We all know this. It's hyperbole, but everybody understands there's a certain amount of water that you can drink that can be bad for you. You all know this, right? But it doesn't mean you shouldn't be drinking water. Like almost all levels of water underneath that extreme dangerous level are really, really healthy for you and are actually like required for your best health. The same thing happens with every food. You can eat so many carrots that it causes health problems. But with these medicinal herbs, there are certain amounts of each herb that start to push the threshold of safety. Our philosophy in formulation is we use synergy in our formulation, meaning that we use multiple ingredients that work together to create the desired effect rather than using a whole bunch of a single ingredient. So that allows us, for one, to be more effective for a wider range of population, because we don't run the risk of you being a genetic non-responder to one of those ingredients and not getting benefit from the formula, which happens a lot with single formula herbals. We make sure that in that synergy, if one of those herbs you're a genetic non-responder to, we're going to get you with 4 or 5 of the other ones to still get you the effect. But the other huge benefit of that is that we're able to use a very, very safe dose of every ingredient in there. In fact, I had an awesome, like, absolute fitness superstar. I'm not gonna rat him out. He was at my house the other night, but it's somebody all of you would know, like a TV show guy. And he was over and he was talking about a supplement that someone gave him, and he said, "Hey, what do you know about these guys? Because they gave me this supplement, and I took some right before I was speaking at this thing, and it freaked out, and my chest felt like it was collapsing. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. I called them after there, and they said, 'Oh yeah, that herb, we use a high dose, and it just does that to a certain percentage of people.'" And I'm like, that is so wildly irresponsible. So just so you know, there's lots of ways to formulate. What Jamie is referencing is we stay well below those safety levels where you have to worry about any negative interactions from a given ingredient, or where you have to worry about like interactions with medications with a given ingredient. But again, if you have a specific question about your medication and a supplement, take it to your physician. If they do not have the reference on hand, they all know what a PDR is. It's a physician's desk reference. They make a PDR for herbal medicines. So they can, if they don't have access to it, then go look at it online. They can buy themselves a copy that will show them the specific amount of each ingredient that they need to worry about, and then cross-reference it, and they will find that what we're using is well within that safety category.
That's incredible. So can you answer the question, I mean, even on all three, or specifically the collagen? Some people want to know, how quickly will you begin to see results? Let's start with the collagen. I know for me personally,
Yeah.
and I'll let you answer this medically and from formulation, but it was like 24, 48 hours. My skin was just like, la. I mean, I'd never had so many compliments within a very short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So with any nutritional, all of our bodies are unique. There's a little difference in how quickly each of us respond in a visible or really tactily noticeable way to a given supplement. Oftentimes we do see it within a few days, like you mentioned. The rule of thumb I normally give people is, any new supplement, and this isn't just the stuff that we put together, that's awesome, like this is really anything, give it a couple weeks. And the reason why is sometimes it takes a little bit longer just because of who you are genetically for some of those really noticeable results to come through. Sometimes you might have something else going on in your body, right? If you give it 3 days and you happen to have a little cold or flu bug your body's dealing with right now, you probably won't see the maximum amount of benefit in those 2 or 3 days. So normally we kind of go, hey, let's take 2 weeks and look at this. And any of these things that we're putting together are potent and active and amazing enough that really you will begin to like feel and see that shine within a couple weeks. But that's a good rule of thumb I normally use.
That's awesome. Okay, well, let's bounce on over to the next supplement. You pick.
Oh man, I don't know. Let's talk about. Do you want to talk about the cleanse supplement?
Yes, that's great.
Let's do that. Okay. So kind of quick overview on that. And then if you can help guide me to any specific questions, I would love to answer those.
Yeah.
So I gave you guys like a little bit of history 101 on how I got into doing this, following my amazing doctor mother into this industry. Where she began was with detoxification. So many of you may have heard of like the old Master Cleanse. The Master Cleanse was kind of the first naturopathic driven cleanse on the market, where people would drink lemon juice and maple syrup and cayenne pepper, and they would use that to help to cleanse their body over a period of sometimes up to 30 days, which is a really long time. But that's what they would do back in the day with that Master Cleanse. My mother, the work that she began on was actually trying to find a way to make a much more effective, efficient cleanse than what was currently available with the Master Cleanse. So she went into master herbalism and put together formulation that supported all of the proper cleansing systems of the body. So your body cleanses through a number of different ways. We all know about the colon, right? People talk about colon cleanses all the time. Your colon is really important in the cleansing process, but it's not the only thing that's important in the cleansing process by a long way. We also need to worry about the process of what's happening with purifying the blood. So how are our kidneys working to help to purify the blood? How's our liver working to help to metabolize what's going on within our blood chemistry and cleanse that? How are we working in breathing off toxic vapors? One of the main ways that we can actually detoxify is breathing vapors off in the, as we exhale. How is our skin working to help us to detoxify? We all get really hung up on our skin being like this beautiful wallpaper, and it is a beautiful wallpaper, but it is also a wildly important functional organ, and to a degree it's an eliminative organ and an immune boost organ in our body. So there's a lot of health functions. And so she was looking to make sure that all of those cleansing systems were working properly, not just a colon cleanse. And in, what began a long period of research and the development of really incredible products, basically she was the early pioneer on full body detoxification cleanses. We worked on the medical side for a long time. So everybody probably hasn't had the opportunity to try the benefit of all of that incredible research and real world clinical activity. But what it's led to is being able to deliver here a detoxification support product that literally works to enhance every single organ and system of cleansing in the body, so we end up with a true full body cleanse. I don't want you to ever go and do just a colon cleanse again. And we could be huge nerds about this at some point. Maybe at some point we'll be able to get together in real life, and I'll be able to like show you big charts and stuff of exactly what happens. But what happens so often is people will do a colon cleanse without properly cleansing like liver and kidneys. And the thing is, when your liver and kidneys pull stuff out of your blood, like bad toxic stuff you don't want, where they put that is into your colon. And while having a clean colon is a really, really good thing, those toxins that get dumped oftentimes get picked right back up into the bloodstream, recirculated, and end up back in your liver and kidneys. And you end up with almost this non-ending cycle of toxins moving through your body if your liver and kidneys are not working properly. So what we've done is put together this comprehensive formulation where you're able to use a single formulation, and every organ and system of cleansing is being addressed at once, which is the best way to go, right? I used to think about this like those of you who've ever traveled to like a beach house, a lot of times, they'll have a sink where you can rinse off your sandy stuff. And in like plumbing fashion, there's this P trap in the sink drain, right? Where it starts to fill with sand. If you really need to clean that sand out and push it out of the drain because it's backing everything up, you can't keep dumping buckets of sandy water into the sink for that to happen, because while you flush some away, you redeposit more. And the same thing happens when you're only paying attention to like one portion of your body's eliminatory systems in a cleanse. If you're only doing your colon, you keep retoxifying that environment because you haven't taken care of the rest of the body. So the only way to really flush, in going back to the beach house sink, the only really way to flush that out is to actually use clean, pure water that it isn't bringing toxins into the system to push all that through. Same way, the only way to really get a truly effective cleansing activity is to make sure that we're purifying everything at once so that we aren't retoxifying the tissues that we just cleaned. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's amazing. And I loved going through the testing phase. I was like, man, I felt light. I mean, weight loss is not the focus, but that was a byproduct. I felt energized mentally and physically. I mean, I just felt so good. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's if I can like jump on a tangent for one second, you mentioned weight loss, and really wellness is always the goal for us. One of the things that happens generally, if people are in a position where the place of wellness for them would be at a little different weight, lighter or heavier, one of the cool things is generally when you focus on wellness, the weight stuff takes care of itself. You really never have to worry about that. What we want to worry about is just building the absolute best in wellness in your life. Everything else follows suit.
Yes, that's why we will have, I'll be teaching you guys on juicing and blending and intermittent fasting and proper nutrition. All of that plays into it's good to supplement, but we want to do all of it together. A couple questions that people are having is, it's sort of social understanding is that you detox like twice a year. So this is a supplement. How often do we want to be utilizing this supplement?
So this supplement is designed a little differently. It's one you certainly can use to support, a twice yearly or a quarterly cleanse. It will be a benefit to that. However, some of the best research on detoxification shows that since we never take a break from toxifying our bodies, right, we really can't help it. In modern day life, no matter where you go, there's toxins that are just like attacking us all the time, right? It's in the foods that we're eating, the water we're drinking, the air we're breathing. It's in the cars we're driving and the clothes we're wearing and how we're cleaning our house. Like there are toxic agents everywhere that our body's just not used to. So since we're continually toxifying our bodies and these things are entering our systems, not because we want them to, but it's just life. It's just modern life. We need to continually support the detoxifying process as well. There's really never a time you're like, well, I'm going to let things get really, 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 really bad for 6 months, and then maybe I'll clean it. We don't do that with our kitchen, right? Like, it's quarantine. Maybe you're doing that with your kitchen right now, but ideally, we don't do that with our kitchen and go, we need to make sure we clean the kitchen good once every 6 months. And in between, we'll just let everything build up, right? The best thing to do is clean as you go so that you always have a healthy, sanitary, safe, usable environment. We want to provide the same environment inside our bodies.
So what you're saying is that this is a safe supplement to consistently take every day for the rest of your life.
It is, absolutely. That's how it's been designed. That's
amazing. Okay. I love this so much. How many of you guys are so excited? I'm just like, give me those supplements. It's so great. Okay. So another question too is, and I don't want to go, well, if we could just bounce back to collagen for a second. People have been asking about dosage for collagen. We've got the 1 scoop and the 2 scoops. Can you talk about dosage real quick, and then we'll bounce over to Nootropic?
As far, so enlighten a little bit in as far as dosages, just how much you ought to be taking things or times you might take a little more or less, like, just fill that in for me a little bit.
Yeah. So with the collagen and even the cleanse, I know there's a maximum that you can take. What do you suggest, with the collagen? I think the question was, is the dose 5 grams? Okay.
Yeah. So with collagen, the really cool thing with collagen is, being a protein, it's darn near impossible. Well, it really is impossible to like overdose on a protein. So there's not an upward, safety concern. right? What happens is if you consume a whole bunch of extra protein, your body just starts using it for different stuff. If you decided to, join like a mass eating contest, like competitive eating contest, and eat so much protein it overwhelms what your body can do with it, it's very easy for your body to move stuff out. Obviously, we don't want to be moving out supplements. This stuff is like absolute gold, and we want to use everything you can get. So I only bring that up to highlight there's not a safety level that you need to worry about going, well, if I take this much, it's going to be unsafe because I'm taking too much collagen. There's no such level. It's infinitely safe. But what we really see is at the base dosage, this is a potent supplement, and you will definitely see benefit at the base 1 scoop dosage. However, especially in the early stages, you will see accelerated benefit with the 2 scoop dosage. So most of us are kind of walking around, quite honestly, starved for a lot of really good nutrition. One of the craziest things we've created in our society is that we are the first humans to ever exist anywhere on this planet who are both overfed and undernourished, because we're eating so many foods that just aren't giving us what they need, either because we're making crummy food choices, we all do it sometimes, right? Or because the foods that we're eating have been so wildly denatured by commercialization and processing and bad farming techniques and all that stuff that we've heard about. Our food is not as nutritious as it used to be. So unless we work really, really hard to fill in those gaps, we're not giving our bodies what they need. So oftentimes when that happens with something like the collagen, we've been starved. We've been getting by, but nowhere near an optimal level. So you can move a little faster by enhancing a dose a little bit, if that makes sense. So instead of starting with a single dose a day, starting with a couple doses a day, we'll just begin to move that needle to benefit much, much quicker. In the future, you may easily be able to step back to 1 dose and maintain all of those great results. It's a little bit like the accelerated program to give your body a little extra boost to make up for whatever has been lacking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was taking the 5 grams, which I believe for us is 2 scoops.
So 2 scoops is about 6 grams. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So excited. And then with the supplement or the cleanse, how much and how often do you recommend? Is it with water, with food? All of these supplements, they're safe to take all together every day?
They are, and you can take the cleanse supplement either just with water, with a liquid, or you can take it with a meal. It won't impact how it works for you. So since what we're dealing with here is medicinal herbs, they're plants. They're super amazing plants, but it's just like eating plants that are specifically geared towards producing amazing health outcomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your body's going to digest them and then use them to accomplish what we want. So it really doesn't matter whether you take them with food or without. Something like the cleanse, it doesn't matter what time of day you take it. It'll really work anytime. And it doesn't matter if you combine them with the other supplement. Like, for example, the nootropic and the cleanse, we're really, really careful to not only make sure that each individual supplement is properly balanced to not be risky at all, but also the supplements we put together in a line, you can take both of them at the same time and not have any issues. So you don't need to worry about specific timing. I tell people all the time that the nootropic definitely will be best to take in the morning. It's not like it won't work if you take it later in the day. It's just that most of like those high brain energy benefits that you get where you're really charging and feeling like a gajillion bucks, usually we want that to be happening through the day rather than as we're trying to go to sleep at night and our brain's like, I'm going to solve something right now. That it keeps us up. So the nootropic is best to take in the morning, but you can take it at night if you want. But otherwise, we like to take them when works for you. Take them when you'll remember to take them, because the important thing is getting them in so that they can do all the incredible things they were designed to do for you and improving your wellness.
That's great. Okay. I love when you talked about, when we were discussing like the difference between just eliminating versus detoxifying. And I know you talked about that extensively, but you gave a really good analogy about, the water soluble and the fat soluble toxins. Can you cover that again?
Yeah, 100%. This is something that maybe a lot of people don't understand about detoxifying. but it's one of the most important concepts. And it is that there are two main classes of toxins that we define by their solubility. There's water soluble toxins that dissolve in water, and there's fat soluble, or they're also called lipid soluble toxins that that dissolve in fat. And I talk about this a lot. I don't know why I have so many, everything's coming back to like kitchens and washing dishes today. I must be ready to eat or something. But I always talk about this, like if you had an oily frying pan and you needed to clean it, right? You wanted to get all that junk, all that oil out. Simply rinsing that pan in water wouldn't get you the result you want, because water is terrible at removing oil, because oil is not water soluble, right? We all know oil and water separate. They don't actually get together so that you can do any work with it. And so when we take a look at fat soluble toxins that's like that oil, the water that our bodies naturally use to cleanse themselves. When you think about it, like water is the liquid of life. It's also how we cleanse ourselves. When we sweat out toxins, it's water. When we breathe off vapors, it's water vapor. When we urinate, it's water. Our blood is predominantly water-based, right? And so we're water-based organisms. But when we have fat-soluble toxins that attack our bodies, they don't dissolve properly into those water elimination means for us to remove them. So what happens is they normally end up dissolving into fatty tissues in our body. So whether that's body fat or, kind of scariest, we have fat cushioning around all of our organs. And that fat cushioning can become completely like infused with these fat soluble toxins. And our body does a terrible job at removing those toxins because it's water-based, right? So just like when you're cleaning that oily pan, you need to use a solvent. We use dish soap with that, right? That helps the water remove all of that fat-soluble oil. So within the detoxification, several of those ingredients actually work in the same way as like a healthy solvent to help your body's natural elimination systems remove those fat-soluble toxins so they can't bother you and cause you issues.
Okay, that's incredible. It does a scrubbing, like it scrubs your colon, it scrubs your body.
So inside the colon, what we see with the scrubbing, it's kind of a 1-2 punch. Your colon is a really complex organ, and in order to remove waste, it relies on sort of three main things. First of all is what we call a peristaltic action. Your colon contracts like an accordion. You know, if you've seen like an accordion, it contracts along in a rhythmic fashion along the entire length of your accordion, like one after another, to help to move things forward and move things along. So peristaltic action is the first step. The second is your colon is meant to have a natural lubrication that keeps any waste from like sticking to the walls and not moving along at the proper speed. And the third is that in our diets, as we eat natural healthy fiber, that natural healthy fiber comes and is moved by the peristaltic action, is aided by the proper lubrication of the colon walls in kind of scooping everything along and moving it out of the body. So it's a 1-2-3 punch. Within the detoxification, we encourage the peristaltic action. That oftentimes has gotten really lazy in people. If you haven't been pooping like at least once a day, but more likely 2 or 3 times a day, your peristaltic action sucks. Like I can tell you that right now. It's gotten a little bit lazy because you haven't been eliminating enough. And like every muscle, when we're not using it properly, when it's not getting us the benefit our body wants, it atrophies, the function slows down. So we want your peristaltic action to be stimulated properly, which we do with this product. And then also we want to make sure that the natural lubrication of the colon is proper. And so we do lubricate it there. So all that you really need to add to that mix is make sure you're eating a healthy diet that's got some fiber in it. And that truly will like scrub all that waste out of your colon.
I love that. Wow, man. And we could go on for literally hours and hours on all the different ingredients. So I think let's move on to the nootropic, and then I'll bounce around between the different products as questions coming up here. So
okay. Awesome. The nootropic, in a nutshell, is meant to provide the absolute best in energy, in clarity of thought, in cognition, in memory, and in overall brain health. So it's a supplement that is entirely designed for this important little square foot of real estate right here that helps us do everything else better. So there are ingredients in there that stimulate healthy brain chemistry, like from a dopamine feel happy standpoint. There are ingredients there that help us to produce serotonin, which helps to mellow everything out and make things seem pretty good. Help us to produce melatonin, which helps us calm down and go to sleep at night when we need to. There are ingredients that actually support healthy neurotransmitters. So, you know, our brain runs on chemistry, but neurotransmitters are what helps move chemicals and impulses so that our brain can do what it needs to do. And so the nootropic is a full complex of basically everything you need to do all those things I talk about: increase mental energy, increase and improve mood, create some stability within our brain environment, and support those chemicals that I always talk about it kind of being like being able to take a pill that's like putting on the rose-colored glasses that make the world look a little sunnier.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Do you want to talk about some of the ingredients? I know people have questions about the caffeine and, you know, and their children taking the nootropic.
Okay. So there's a tiny little bit of green tea in there that we use due to the brain benefits, which are really pronounced. As far as caffeine, there is substantially less caffeine in a dose of the nootropic than there is in a square of chocolate. So if you're so sensitive to caffeine that if you eat a square of chocolate, it sends you through the roof, maybe try a half dose. but in all likelihood, the caffeine content in there is nothing that will ever be noticed by anyone. It's something that's just part of whole and natural green tea, but we're not optimizing for that here. So the level will be non-noticeable to anyone taking it. So.
That's incredible. So, so when we're talking about, you know, and this is where we, you know, I've seen questions about, hey, I have this medical condition. Is it going to help me with this? Can you talk about just in general, specifically our nootropic with the different studies that have been shown, you know, clinical trials? I know that you've spoken at different events with autism. We've got ADHD questions coming up here, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So when we take a look at specific like ADHD, whether that's childhood ADHD or you know, a look for a little more focus amongst an adult that presents with ADHD, or whether we're talking about children on the spectrum with autism, this is a base blend that we have used for quite a while. You know, I think we're 6 to 7 years that we've been using this inside the autism and behavioral communities. And as you mentioned, have seen such benefit with this with practitioners that we've keynoted at Autism One, with, you know, sharing this protocol through a couple of the clinics that we work with that run this protocol. And we've seen, I've never seen a single supplement better support either behavior or autism spectrum from a nutritional standpoint. The real magic comes when we're able to pair this nootropic with the specific nutritional needs of a spectrum child. So in anyone in this group, I will say one thing. I love so much working. Huge apology to dads here, and I probably shouldn't like put this out there. I'm a dad to 8 kids. Like, dads are amazing, but there's something special about autism moms. The lengths they go to learn and to fight for their kids, it has been both humbling and inspiring to me in my interactions with them. And it's something we take very, very seriously. And so all my autism moms out there will know how vitally important things like healthy fats and like protection of gut health is for our spectrum children. But this specific nootropic balance in combination with a diet rich in nutrients that is providing the proper healthy fats and protection of gut balance is the single best clinical nutritional protocol I've ever seen for spectrum children.
Wow, that's amazing. There's some questions too around, non-GMO corn and the cellulose and the ascorbic acid. Can we talk about the
Oh,
benefits?
heck yeah. So this is great. First of all, we GMO test every single ingredient we ever get. GMOs are not welcome in our products. So anything we have ever, if you ever want to stop and ask the question and say, is the X used in this non-GMO? The blanket answer is yes. We actually test the DNA on every single ingredient we bring into house to ensure it is a non-GMO source. Secondly, if you see cellulose on any of those capsule labels, this is actually a super cool thing. So cellulose, when cellulose is used in a filler in an herbal product, usually what they're using equates to like sawdust, right? It's something that we don't like to see when it's inside like the normal ingredient stack. But the cellulose that you see that we use makes up what's called a VCAP. And a VCAP is the vegetarian cellulose-based capsule that we put these dry herbs into. And we do this for a super, super cool reason. So cellulose doesn't exist anywhere other than just in the capsule shell. But one thing that's amazing is the particular type of plant cellulose. And cellulose, by the way, all that means is plant fiber. It's a Latin word for plant, science word for plant fiber, basically. But in a VCAP made out of cellulose, that cellulose is dissolved by an enzyme in your saliva called salivary amylase. And these VCAPs, if you put them in your mouth, within 60 to 90 seconds, they're gone. There's nothing left. And all those herbs are just like out on the loose. So this is a great thing for digestion because those of you who have taken like tablet-based supplements, I hate tablets because most people can't digest them. If you want to be a huge nerd, go type like a vitamin tablet x-ray in a Google window when we're done, and you can watch everybody's colons full of all the expensive vitamin tablets they bought that their body can't digest. But these VCAPs digest almost instantly. So normally this is an amazing thing. But one thing is with medicinal herbs, Jamie can back me up on this. Most of them are not the most pleasant tasting things on the planet. If they tasted amazing, we'd eat big salads of medicinal herbs, but they're, especially digestives, are really, really bitter. So we put them inside of a VCAP and swallow them. Funny thing that happens around our office is that since we all know you've got 60 or 90 seconds, you'll see people sprinting to the water cooler because they throw a capsule in their mouth, they pick up their water bottle, realize it's empty, and they know they've just like hit a 60-second countdown before they're going to get a mouthful of medicinal herbs that don't taste very good. And the funniest story of this is one of my amazing partners, Cameron. Years ago when he started with us, he was driving home one night and he was taking all of his stuff, and he said he had 3 left and had run out of street. He's like, I just thought I was going to be like a man about it. So I threw him in and swallowed hard. And he's like, immediately I could feel one stuck right here in my throat. So he says like a minute goes by and he can start to feel that tickle like he's going to cough. And he said he coughed and it was just like a dragon plume of dried herb powder all over the interior of his car, which I thought was hilarious. But he was like, no, man, it was like in my air conditioning vents. Like it was a huge problem. But that cellulose you see in a capsule is one of the best things you can see on herbal ingredients because you know that what you're taking actually will get digested into your cells instead of eliminated as an undigested tablet. So
Yes, and it is non-GMO corn for the ascorbic acid. Some people are asking for allergies.
Yes. And ascorbic acid, I'm sorry, I know we're so running out of time. I can nerd on science forever, but I love these questions. Ascorbic acid simply is the chemical form of vitamin C. It's confusing because they make lab manufactured ascorbic acid, and they normally make the bad stuff, the bad lab manufactured stuff, out of petroleum products, which we don't like at all. And the big issue with that is it ends up being what we call chirally incorrect. So when we take a look at the molecular structure, chirality means is the structure twisting left or twisting right? It's just which direction it's going. In lab manufactured artificial ascorbic acid, the chirality shifts the wrong direction from natural ascorbic acid. But natural ascorbic acid that comes from an enzymatic extract of of real plants is literally the purest form of vitamin C that you can get. And in fact, everything is at a point in the form of ascorbic acid. If you boil all the way down to the purity, it's just oftentimes it's chelated with something else when it's inside of plants. So the reason that we do that is we're able to use a small dose of the highest potency, purest vitamin C there is as an enzymatically extracted non-GMO corn ascorbic acid. But it's a natural extract. It's not a lab created vitamin C.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah, everything we have here is food based. So we're not doing any synthetics. Somebody's asking about vitamin E synthetics. You know, there's no synthetics in any of our supplements. That goes against our entire philosophy on eating, consuming, healing your body.
Yeah.
Let's just do one last question.
Okay.
And I know we have so many questions here, and I think what we might be able to do is maybe I'll send you the list and you can just voice record answers and we'll type those out and put it into a document.
Sure
Something
thing.
like that. Somebody asked, okay, so going back to the collagen again, has our collagen been studied to show that it goes 100% into the cell, which we answered that question.
Mm-hmm.
Other popular collagen supplements have 20 grams collagen peptide. Ours is 2.5 grams of protein. How can we explain this to customers? So I know you kind of answered that, but I'd love to have this in our, when we go to edit the video, because this is a question that comes up a lot, just for marketing purposes.
Yeah, absolutely. So whenever we see these, what I term bulk collagen supplements, where they're using not just like the amazing high quality diamond stuff, but that handful of shiny rocks. Not only are they able to put a whole lot of a cheap ingredient in, but honestly, they have to put a huge amount of this really cheap collagen in order to bring about any type of effect for you at all. And none of the studies that we talk about where we have a collagen that's actually proven, that's radio tagged, that could go all the way into the cell, this usually doesn't even exist at all. It's not represented at all in these bulk collagens. So it sounds flashy, it looks good on a label, but in reality, what's happening is you're getting, no matter if it says 25 grams or whatever, you're getting 0 grams of what you actually need. Because what you actually want is you actually want collagen in your cell. You don't really just want another protein supplement. And with a bulk collagen, all you're getting is just some other regular run-of-the-mill protein supplement.
Man, that marketing, I tell you what. That's great. Well, we also appreciate your time, Wallace. Dr. Nelson. I have a hard time calling you Wallace on here.
Wallace is good. I say this all the time. My wife laughs at me anytime somebody calls me doctor. She's like, this is like the idiot riding the grocery cart with our kids. Like she can't call me doctor either. Wallace is plenty good.
Oh, one last question. A lot of people are asking about shelf life for the supplements. Can you answer that real quick?
There's actually a multi-year shelf life. One thing about dried herb products is they last a long, long, long time. We generally like to recommend that you don't let it sit around for more than a couple years. And once you open something, use it within the year. Stuff's so good though, you'll use it within a month. So it's not going to be a problem, but you definitely have a year after you open it without any loss in efficacy at all.
That's great. Okay, well, we're all sending you big hugs here, and say hi to Ashlyn for us. Thank you so much.
I'll do it.
We appreciate you.
Ton of fun to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.